Coach, it's always fun getting this first game now. Let me ask you, and I think we talked about this just briefly, the way the conference season is now set up, you open up against a conference team. Certainly not the most ideal thing, but you have to deal with what the cards are sent to you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where in the past we could play a couple of games ahead of time and get things worked out before we went into conference play, and now we got to jump right into it against a team with a new head coach and a new energy, and it's hard telling what we're going to see, so it's pretty nerve-wracking. Usually I'm really excited because I kind of know what to expect, but now I'm more stressed out, I'd say. Yeah.
You guys, when I saw you last on Media Day, you guys are getting ready. Talk about how the preparations have gone since that time, and a little bit about your scrimmage as well.
Well, I think since that time, practice has been going really well. We've got a lot of guys competing for spots. Our numbers are good, and so far, we've stayed healthy, and that's a good thing. We've been trying to work on a lot of injury prevention and things like that in the weight room, and so that's paying off for us. And right now. And, we had the scrimmage. I felt like we played really well with Lapel. They brought a lot of pressure, which was good for our young quarterbacks to see. We could see how they react and, if they're going to freak out or whatever. And if they were ever going to freak out, that would have been the time to do it because it was a lot of pressure. And Lapel's a tough team. They had a great quarterback this year. They lost a great quarterback, but this young guy coming up, I've worked with him at SOS camps. He's a real leader, a real solid player. And so it was exciting for let our defense, try to figure out how to play against him. And I think our kids did really well. And we got a lot of reps for young guys. And it was a good opportunity for those guys to work their way up the depth chart. And our depth chart looked a lot different after the scrimmage than it did when we went into it.
So you saw some guys that really performed in the lights then, right? Yeah,
guys that handled the pressure and did the things they needed to do the right way, not just making plays because they were accidentally in the right place, but because they were there with intent. And they did a great job. And I think hopefully we're in a situation now where each week it'll change just a little bit because of the competition at the spots.
Did you have any separation in your quarterbacks? So you're playing the two during the scrimmage. What did you see in both of them, and what did you like?
Well, both guys did a great job. I felt like they both handled pressure well. When you're rotating linemen in and out and they're blitzing like crazy, each time they get a different look. And I felt like we ran the ball well. Both quarterbacks did. I felt like they made pretty good decisions in the pocket. They hung in there when they needed to. It's been a real tough battle. Both the guys have done a really great job, and they're good buddies too. So they compete with each other, and I really like that. And the good thing is we got two guys that if something happens, in the past it was like we got this guy and then we got a way young guy, and now we've got a situation where they're both a little young, but they're both stronger and bigger and faster than they were last year. They've both been doing a lot of throwing over the summer and in the spring, and so we got a great opportunity here for both quarterbacks, and we're just going to kind of see how it pans out.
Is it a situation then where, of course, everybody always talks about the quarterback situation, and that old adage, well, if you have two, you don't have any, which I don't necessarily believe. How do you pan that whole thing out? Where are you going to play both of them, or are you going to kind of see how it turns out?
I got a plan. We'll see how it goes, but I think when you got a group of guys around the quarterback like we have this year, everybody thinks that's a magnificently integral part, but every part is important to play in their role and doing their job. And one of them said it best. A guy asked him what position he played, and he said, the guy scoring all the touchdowns out there? He said, I'm the guy handing him the ball. So I thought that was a great way to answer it, and I thought that was pretty smart. And so as long as they know what their role is, it's not really going to impact one way or the other. I think, it's just like having a different tackle out there. If the tackle's not the best tackle, then there's a problem. And we'll get the best guy on the field.
Coach, back to KNIGHTSTOWN a little bit. Just talk about playing them in that first game. What did they do well? Some of the concerns you have. And as you said, new head coach, guess you kind of have to feel it out a little bit to kind of see how it goes.
Well, when you watch a scrimmage film, especially with a new head coach, I know when I was first starting, I thought I'm not going to show anybody anything. I'm going to do stuff completely different than I did before, and to shock them when I get out there. But what I learned over time was that you just got to do what you do out there to see if you can really do it. We saw some things there that I don't know if that's exactly what they're going to run. It might be, but we're preparing for it. And we've kind of followed his career a little bit and looked around and find some other things. And so I think that we should be in pretty good shape defensively. We got a bunch of veterans back on defense, and we'll see how that works out. But he's going to bring new energy. He's going to bring, and KNIGHTSTOWN's always got physical players, and they've always got athletes, and it's going to be a situation where it's going to be a tough battle for our first game. It's a great TEC opener, and we get to play it on turf, and guys love playing on turf, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.